Looking to store your boat on water? Let's check out the options. Welcome back to the Rudder. My name's Damian. Obviously we're at home. Antoinette's parked up there. And you might have seen we had some exciting news. We're getting another little boat for driving around the canals when it's too much effort to bring the big one out. If you want to visit some friends. We're getting a Highfield 3.4 metre FCT. And when we were looking at that, it's like, well, where are we going to put this thing? We want it to be somewhere where we can get it in and out really easily. We want to use it a lot, because no other reason to have that kind of boat. So let's go down to the Pontoon and look at the different options we looked at for storing our Highfield 340 FCT. So just looking at the Pontoon, obviously you can see the option we went with, but let's just have a look at what else we were thinking about before we got there. Now, clearly Antoinette is taking up the front half, so we couldn't go there. There are a few people we've seen putting cubes in between their main boat and the Pontoon, but that would push us well out into the canal. The beam of the Highfield FCT is 1.8 metres. So once you put that, with a bit of walking space, so we're basically looking at, we need 2 metres of space and 3.5 metres, 3.4 metres of length. So having a look at this side, towards the rear of Antoinette, it looks like a pretty good option. There's a good amount of water here, but you can see that the fab dock just does poke out over the end. Also, this is the way that Antoinette comes out. So as we bring Antoinette out, I need to start completing a spin. Having an obstacle sticking 2 metres out into the water really did create a bit of an issue. We could have put bricks there. So the floating bricks you often see used in jet skis. If we put those there, we could have tried to move the fab dock up a little bit, but that would stick the nose out. So I didn't like it, because when you try and swing Antoinette, you just don't want more obstacles. Also, if you're coming in and it's windy and more things around to hit, let's avoid that. Flicking to the other end of the Pontoon is much the same story, except we now have the fab dock sticking out the other way. We were looking at, could you bring if you had the same block mechanism, could you come around this way? Now the tide's coming up and it looks like you've got a fair bit of water, but it goes a long way down, and we'll have a look at that in a second. So on this side, it really didn't work very well. Trying to stick it out lengthways, sticking 3 metres out, there's a lot of room for it to swing around. Wouldn't really work. An option we had a look at was on the inside. That is until you hit a low tide. We had a full moon a couple of days ago, and it's actually, the tide's coming up at the minute. It's an hour and a half since the tide. You can see on the pole, to fit in a beam of 1.8 metres, it's not going to work. We're going to put in some blocks or even a boat lift, a little contraption that can lift it out of the water. But if the tide's down a little bit more, there's just no way you're going to get the boat in or out. And also, if it was on blocks, you'd end up with it kind of rocking and tipping all over the place, which just wouldn't be stable and probably put a lot of pressure on everything. So after a lot of investigations, that's where we came up with putting some rollers on the Pontoon. So before we move on to the rollers, which is clearly what we went with, there were 2 other options we were looking at. The jet ski blocks, so they're modular blocks that you can build up. They come in different bits. You can get V-hulls, you can get all sorts of different blocks, and you just build them like Lego into as long as you want. You can walk around them, you can put your posts, you just build them as you want them. We did look at that for all different sides. On the inside here, as we said, it would tilt up. The other option that really did catch our fancy for a little while was a boat lift. So that's attached to the Pontoon, some metal brackets, you drive the boat into it and then lift the whole thing out of the water. Keeps the boat out of the water, so that's fantastic. Quite lightweight, but just where would you put them really became our issue. And on the inside here, we've discussed all the problems of getting in and out. And that left us with the roller system, which is what we went with. This is a second-hand unit, so it's a little bit cheaper. It is essentially a boat trailer. It's the same rollers you get on a boat trailer, and it's long enough that if we ever decided to upgrade, there's a little bit more room. We've got to connect everything. That's the next bit. But we've measured this out. As I said, the beam of the high field is 1.8 meters. So 900 off the center of the roller. And that'll give me about 500 mils around here to walk around, and there's plenty of room on the Antoinette side. Let's just have a look at this end down here. So this is where you launch and recover. The high field has a rigid hull, so it's an aluminium hull. So that'll bump into these rollers, and we can hook it up, and then these can tilt to bring the boat onto the rollers. Whew. So the next thing now is to get this installed. This is all just lying here at the minute. So I've got my job for today. I'll be installing this, and if you didn't know, Pontoon's actually made of concrete. So we're just anchoring this with concrete anchor bolts. I've got to do some measuring up, make sure it's exactly where I want it. I've started doing that a little bit, but obviously measure twice, drill once. I'll get this all in place, and we will be ready to receive our high field 340 FCT, which we'll see in the next video. I hope you liked that quick video. If you've got any questions, leave them down below, and we'll see you next time on the Rudder. Do you live in a canal or some water and want some options for a place for a small boat that you can fit on a canal or a boat or a thing? Then this video might help you, because for the 2% of people that live on water, this is perhaps something you don't really need to deal with. Once you've got your big boat, if you want another one, because you can, and you've also got the other little one, but we've got another one. So where do you put that? Have you already got 2 boats and working out where to store a third? Then this is the video for you.